Hi guys, so we're going to go over properties of rational exponents. Some things to note is when you're multiplying like bases, you always add their exponents, which I did in number 4 of 101's video tutorial. When you're dividing your like bases, make sure you subtract the exponents, always top minus the bottom. And for negative exponents, you move its base and exponent from the numerator to the denominator if it's negative, or if from the denominator to the numerator if it's negative, in order to make it positive. So we'll go over some examples on these bases. So let's say the first one, I have x to the 2/3 power times x to the 3/5 power. Again, if you look, they have like bases, and the like bases are being multiplied. So we keep the like base, and you add the exponents together. So some of you have learned to add fractions using common denominators, which is fine. I'm going to show you just another way that I use to add and subtract fractions that don't have common denominators. So 2 over 3 plus 3 over 5. Crisscross applesauce. So Chris 2 times 5 would be 10, plus, because there's a plus in the middle. So we have the Chris, we have cross, 3 times 3 is 9, and then all over applesauce, which is the two denominators multiplied together. So 3 times 5 would give you 15, and this gives you 19 over 15. So when you add them, you'll get x to the 19 over 15th power, and that'll be your rational exponent. And doing the same thing with the next problem, this time they're giving you the two bases, the two like bases, but they're dividing them. So x to the 3/5 power divided by x to the 1/3 power. So remember, when you're dividing your like bases, you subtract their exponents. Always the top numerator minus the denominator. So I'm going to keep the like base again, and I'm going to take 3/5 minus 1/3. So you can still do crisscross applesauce for subtracting denominators or subtracting fractions. If you're going to use common denominators, by all means. So if I have 3/5 minus 1/3, I'm going to do the whole criss again. So make sure it's always left and down first, because the order does matter. So 3 times 3 is 9. This time I'm writing minus because there is a minus sign between the two fractions. So criss cross, 1 times 5 is 5, over applesauce, which are the two denominators being multiplied together, which gives me 15. So 9 take away 5 gives me 4. 4 over 15 is going to be my new exponent. And then from here, going over the last property that we discussed under the notes, if I were to take x to the negative 2/3 power and divide it by 2, anytime you have any of your answers, like let's say a number 1 or number 2, anytime you have exponents that are negative, never leave that as your final answer. We don't leave negative exponents there. So in order to change them, we move them. Let's say this was in the denominator, x to the negative 2/3. To make it positive, we would move it to the numerator. So in number 3, since the x to the negative 2/3 power is negative, to make it positive, I would move it to the denominator. So now it's positive. Notice, nothing's wrong with the 2. There's no negative power. It didn't do anything to anybody. It stays exactly where it is. So don't magically move it up. Keep it exactly where it is. It doesn't have a negative power, so it stays. But there's nothing in the numerator now. So what do? You put a 1 there. There's nothing there, you put a 1 there. And that's it. I hope this helps, guys.